Yes, sir. Yes, sir. B, what up, man?
The stream is live, baby. The boys are back. Let's go. We got
There
a
you go.
major guest in the building today. It's going to be a great app, man.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Look, we were just talking about it, man. Look, we gotta realize when you got one of the good guys, somebody's been doing it the right way all the time, doing the right thing by his organization, his players, and taking advantage of being in a position that he's in to help others, man. So you definitely got to give him some love, and we're gonna do that tonight. So tonight we have PSA founder and best-selling author joining us tonight. The PSA Cardinals refers to the highly regarded basketball program based in New York City. It also known as Pro Scholars Athletics and operates under the name PSA Cardinals. The program is dedicated to using basketball to provide student athletes with academic and social opportunities, aiming to help them succeed in college and beyond. They are known for developing players and sending them to Division I schools and beyond.
That's right.
We talking about some big time players over here, man.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So besides that, running one of the best grassroots programs in the country, he is a best-selling author of 2 books. So if you haven't gotten the first one, here it is.
That's one.
There you go. There you go. Make sure we got this lined up right. All right?
That's right.
Make sure you got this. Get this. All right? This is important. Our PSA. All right? As a public service announcement on mastering your professional evolution. And tonight we will be discussing his new book. All right? Here are the answers.
That's right, baby.
Like Kanye said, you don't got the answers, Sway. You don't got the answers. My guy Munch got the answers. I'm telling you. So, here are the answers, the roadmap for navigating success in the business of youth basketball. So please help us welcome to the show our guy, Terrance Munch Williams. What's happening? Munch, what's going on, baby?
Man, I'm here. I'm excited. We just finished a couple days of this practice for this AAU, getting down to this Nike last session and hopefully this Peach Jam. So the guys been in the gym, the coaches was working hard. So we was able to get some basketball in, and now we try to shift gears real quick to this book thing and everything else that come with it. So I'm excited to be here. Appreciate y'all.
Go ahead, Coach.
Anytime, my man. And how is the energy getting ready for Peach, man? I know it gets ramped up right around July, especially in PSA land. How are the guys feeling? How's the coaches? What's the mood getting ready for Peach?
Yeah, man, it's a little different this year because normally by this time you either know you're in the Peach Jam or you're not. But like with that kind of like TBD to be continued stuff's going on with the, hey, you got to finish up the last session, try to play well enough to get your bid while you're down there. So I mean, all the kids is locked in. You know, obviously we had a ton of injuries all season with a lot of stuff going on. So the kids play a lot of basketball, man. So we're trying to, get some work in without further hurting anyone and being smart about that process. And, the coaches is excited and they, they ready to go. I mean, our goal collectively as a program is to always to have every team in Peach Jam and then try to make a run from there. So we on target to be able to hopefully conquer that in all 3 grades. It was refreshing to see those guys in there. you know, all three teams in the same facility, and the guys and the coaches is giving them their bless what it is. So parents were great, the guys were focused, and the coaches were ready to go. So, you know, I'm just a figurehead right now. That's it.
Hey, listen, it's good to play the guy that's behind the scenes, making sure everything is right, man. Tell everybody how important is Peach Jam and what does it do for your program?
Man, it's big time. I mean, if you simplify it from a contractual standpoint, like if you're making Peach Jam every year, you kind of sleep better, right? Where you're not worried about somebody playing around with your contract or things of that nature. So I think it starts there, and then from a recruiting standpoint for the young men that's in the program, you know, it's the biggest stage of grassroots basketball where you can get seen and get the maximum exposure. So you put those two together, and just from competition, right? Like you searching out competition if you're a real hooper. You know, you get down there and it's electrifying, right? And the further you go, you know, the empty the parking lot is from the other teams, and you just got to come up and play big. So it's a place you if you playing grassroots basketball in the summer and you're on the Nike circuit, you don't want to be on the left on the outside end, right? Like who doesn't want to go to the NCAA tournament in college?
That's
you know, NIT is cool and the CBI is all right, you know what I mean? But everybody want to be in the tournament. So we want a chance to win it all. And in order to have that, you got to get to that next stage. So the regular season is almost over, and we got to finish up what we need.
Yeah, and Munch, I'm dying to ask you because you're one of the guys who kind of does the little things different. And when I say this, I hope you understand what I mean. When
Yep.
you know, a lot of these programs like will have a really good like older group, or they kind of just focus on their older team, or maybe they'll focus on one team. You know, talk to us about how you've been able to develop every team in your program. Every team is competitive. Every team is highly sought after, and you've been able to kind of like work the standard up for PSA over the year. But how are you able to have so many competitive teams when there's so many people complaining that there's either not enough guys, or you know, too many of my guys are getting pulled away? How do you do that from like a whole program standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts and ends with the men that's around these guys every day, right? Like I think I get a ton of credit sometimes when it's not due, but the guys that surround me, my brothers, you know what I mean? Like I said, I tell people all the time, I don't feel comfortable calling them staff, right? Those guys are 12-month people. They constantly, you know, on these group chats, on these Zooms. They building the culture with these guys. They in the gym with them in the off season. They going to, you guys know it. They going to see them at high school events. They going to, you know, they with them at camps. You know what I mean? So I think for us culturally, we try to do so much with buying into the kid, buying into the family as best we can, and being there for them holistically. So I think even when you go through the book, you're gonna see like just that journey of figuring out how to all the other things outside of basketball. And then, you know, once you get to a certain status, you got the data to show like, hey, this stuff that we're doing actually works to get you to the places that you're craving. But it's, you know, you can't skip steps, right? Like we got some families that are cool with, hey, let me play my grade, let me keep working on my craft, and showing them, hey, this kid did it this way, or this family did it this way, but you know, this other family did it this way. But it all at the end, it ends up with you going to college for free, right? But like I said, it starts and ends with those guys. You know, the Joe Browns in middle school, the Donovans, the Coach Ikes, the et cetera, Coach K's, like our staff, our brothers. We got a great coaching staff that been together for a while, right? Like I think one of the things that separate us is we don't have a ton of transition and ton of movement, and the coaches and the men that's around these kids, right? So they know the ins and outs of how to get everything done. We understand the why. We understand the end goal. You know what I mean? It's like in education, you starting from, hey, what we look like in June, and we start there in September, right? So I think the same thing for us is we value the monthly check-ins on Zoom starting in September. We value the group texts. We value the lunches with the guys. We value the gym work with these guys. We value the film sessions that we doing with them. So if most people are trying to figure out their stuff from March to on, we've already kind of done the grunt work of it, the meat and potatoes from September to March, right? Like y'all literally see us outside. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like
that's a fact.
You know, and that's honestly 1 through 10, 1 through 12, depending on the numbers. Like, so we're trying to make sure everyone feels included, and those guys are building with each other, right? The kids, you'll see them at college games together. You'll see them in high school taking pictures and stuff. The alumni connect with those guys. So I'm not gonna lie, it's a ton of work. But you know, you're not going to get all the best talent all the time, and you don't actually need that. We've
Yeah.
also developed, I would say, our own blueprint for what we're looking for in a roster, right? Like we're
Yeah.
not looking for 9 high majors. We're looking
Correct.
for, like, you know, 5 or 6 high majors, a couple mid, a couple academic guys that fit the build. This guy has this role, you know, local kid mixed in with a kid from a different state, but like it's a whole formula for how we trying to you know, go about our business, and it all come to the same thing. Are we going to be good enough on the court to make Peace Jam and make a run? Or each one of these kids going to be academically sound that when it's time to go to college, they okay? And can we keep a core for every grade, right? Like you come up with 5 or 6 and 8th, you move up and get 7 to 8 and 9th, and then you kind of fall on. We don't. We try not to keep adding 8 or 9 kids at the finish line. Like that's
Yeah.
some people's formula works for them. It doesn't work for us, right? So we want a little bit, and kind of keep those guys growing. Like you could see kids growing from, you know, their freshman year to their sophomore year to their junior year. I mean, you don't get to keep everybody. You know, they
Yeah.
leave sometimes, but that's the nature of the business. But for us, it's just, yo, how do we develop these kids year in and year out and have our type of kid off the court, right? Because forget on the court, like we need a kid that's on time to the airport. We need a kid that's on time to the van downstairs. We require a lot of discipline, right? And we target guys who want to be structured and families who want to understand the process. There's a lot of, like I said, a lot of conversations go into the type of guys that we want versus someone else might want. So it can make your recruitment a little bit easier if you know the type of kid you want, you know?
Man, that's saying a lot. And I know, since, you know, knowing you and for these last couple of years and have you on the show before, how you give your brothers the credit they deserve. I know a lot of times you're like the figurehead of everything, but it kind of filters down, right? And when I got a chance to holler at Dylan Mingo during the top 100 camp, we were actually in the airport together, and you know, we actually had a chat. And you know, the same kid that dominated down there, the same kid I met 2 years ago when he was a youngster, is the same young man, level-headed young man that he is today, just a little bit older. And I know when we talking about, when you talking about getting that right kid, right? He comes from a great family, great supportive system, right? And you want that, you know, it's the same that you had in Boogie Flan, right? Same thing, right? Great support system. How important is that? And we're gonna touch on that in the book as well. Some of the things you talked about, as far as collaborate with parents and those things. But how important is that you know that, you know, you're getting these kids and you just sharpen them or keeping them on that steady path that those parents already did for them before they got to you?
Yeah, man. I mean, you like you do the research on the family structure and what they want to do, and you kind of have these meetings and these check-ins every year of like, hey, the end of the year meeting, or you know, you come back from a vacation, you say, let's sit down and let's discuss what the next 12 months look like, right? And you start to see a pattern, right? You see a Cole Anthony staying a few years, you know, across high school. You see a AJ Griffin. You see, you know, like you said, a Mo Bamba, a Boogie Flan, a Darius Adams, a Caden Mingo, a Dylan Mingo, and now you're seeing a Musa do the same type of thing.
That's
And
right.
then, you know what I mean, you trickle it down and you start to see, oh man, you see a Colton Hiller, you see there's a recipe for this stuff to say, hey, this is how we got to go about our business, right? And you need the family. Like you cannot do this without the family. So you don't want to tug a war with the family. And shout out to all of those families. They've been great. They've been supportive, especially in trusting, hey, these moves that you got to make to try to put them in certain camps, or, you know, expectations of them, you know, performing at certain levels, right? You talking about kids getting involved with USA basketball, getting involved in NBPA camp. Like, you know, if you got somebody like Caden, he could explain to Dylan, hey man, when you get to this camp, this is what it looks like. But
That's a
I
fact.
think the trust factor in a family shows you when Dylan doesn't say, hey, I didn't go to NBPA camp last year, I'm upset. But you trust in the fact that we're saying, hey, bro, this is not the time. Let's deal with that when later. Let's knock out this Elite 100 thing. Let's deal with this Pangos thing. So giving guys, you know, your expertise, right, and the program's expertise, and hoping that they trust you to continue to usher their stuff in the right direction, right? And then they have conversations amongst each other. I think as families, right, if you go to these events and you'll see these families having breakfast together or having lunch together or communicating via the phone, and then they'll recruit other families, right? Say, hey, listen, this is what it's like on the inside. Because once you can know what it's like on the inside, you can say that's not good for me, or that's what I'm looking for. But like I said, you can't do anything unless the families trust you and there's some loyalty. And all of us want to go to bed at night. Every director in the city want to go to bed saying, hey, I'm gonna wake up to the kids still being in the program and the family still trusting me night after night, day after day. And you got to put the work in, but you're nothing without that loyalty. And every one of those kids I mentioned, they're going to get recruited by every AAU program in the Northeast every single day. And they deserve it, right? Like if you Boogie, he never second guessed anything. He kept saying, hey, let's go. Let's keep getting to work. And that makes you feel like you're doing the right thing and you push forward. And that's not just those guys who are at that super elite 5-star level. It's across the board. You know what I mean? It's the 4-star guys, the 3-star academic kid. You know, you're trying to make everybody feel like, hey, this is going to work for you. But those families are important, man. They getting their kids to the airport. They getting them to practices. They making sure their academics is up to par. They making sure they going to school. They making sure they stay, you know, disciplined on the Zooms. And when there's consequences, they're gonna support you, right? When there's constructive criticism, you have to be coachable. Like if guys come to practice, they ain't in practice coaching the hell out of them kids, right? Like they own them. So and the parents are supporting that by saying, hey, you guys are gonna give us your all, we're gonna do our part. So everything is departmentalized as far as whose job is what. And these kids know we're trying to get them to the finish line.
Yeah, I have to commend you with, you know, a change I've kind of seen. And, you know, it's just from the outside looking in. Every year I feel like you're adding more quality kids to the program. I feel like, you know, like you said, you're not looking for the mercenaries or maybe the 5-stars. You're looking for the quality people who'll buy in. And I can really feel that with the PSA program, especially lately. But you gave me a little bait, Munch. You know I got to ask about him.
Go for it.
I have to ask about Colton because this kid is unbelievable. He's got me wanting to say some crazy things, Munch, about his future. I think the kid's a flat-out superstar. Tell Pooh and tell the world how impressive has this kid been in workouts and everything, because this offseason has been the offseason of Colton, man. It's been unbelievable.
Listen, man, I think what we as a unit, shout out to Coach Geese and the 15U staff that's been very hands-on with this kid and his family. Forget on the court for a second, right? Like he comes from, as they say, good crop. They come from, you know what I mean, people that understand the values of the world, right? Like mom and dad are involved. They are hands-on. They are supportive. They are, you know, givers of good energy. And I think you see humble in that kid. You see, you know, a desire to be great, but you also see a kid that's selfless, has a super duper, you know, keen on winning, right? Like we in the culture at times where people don't necessarily care about winning enough, right? But he still cares about that. And like I said, his high school coach connectivity between the high school coach, family, grassroots. There's no egos involved. It's all support and how to get this kid to the best that he could be for 12 months. And hopefully we continue that down the line. And I think what makes him special is that he's able to see guys in front of him, right? Like as big of a star he is, he's still looking at a couple 5-star dudes in the 27 class, 5-star dudes in the 26 class, and et cetera, 25, 24. Like, I think we're aligned to have McDonald Americans in like 5 straight classes, knock on wood, God willing, right? Like that doesn't happen by happenstance. That happens with great people, great families, you know, great high schools, you know, development and trainers that they go to. So holistically, these kids are on point. And Colton, you know what I mean, you know, to come from Pennsylvania, to give it a shot, to say, hey, I'm not going to be upset about the travel. I'll give it a shot. And our thing was, hey, man, come be a star. And more than anyone on this call thought, you know, he became a superstar. I wouldn't say overnight. I mean, he had the talent, and his high school coach prepared him. He just needed the stage. You know what I mean? So we were fortunate enough that his family trusted us. His high school coach trusted us. His circle of people trusted us, and we're trying to help. We're just trying to help be a piece of that journey. You know, and yeah, sky's the limit for him. You know what I mean? Sky's the limit.
Before we jump into that book, you know, you guys are New York City based programming. You talked about adding guys from other states. How does that help build the program and also help sharpen the skills of the New York City guys that you guys have?
Yeah, man. I mean, we're gonna always try to to the best of our ability, give the New York dudes the first bid at what we doing, right? And I think reality is what it is. No grassroots program in the Northeast across the country is only functioning on just their given state, right? And you guys know there's so many quality programs. Like, we're not dealing with bad programs in this city, right? Whether it's, the Lightning, the New Heights, the Wrens, City Rocks, like, it's so forth and so on, Jayhawks, Riverside, these guys they're working. So in order for you to come together and have, like B said, really good teams at every grade, you're gonna have to get a kid from a different state that's respectfully, is happy about the opportunity, right? And vice versa. The relationship is built. And we only practice on the weekends, and our structure doesn't make you go back and forth every other day. So because of our structure being designed early, because we had a lot of prep school kids, we've already understood how to manufacture and how to make it work for kids that are out of state. Because even our local kids are not necessarily always here Monday through Thursday, you know what I mean, or Friday. They in school. So we get a chance to bring them in. But, I would love for us to continue to have the New York kids, especially a Bronx kid. I'm from the Bronx, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So I got a soft spot for those guys. Like, when Boogie come through and Musa come through, you like, all right, we got one. Chris McCullough, you know what I mean? Brandon Randolph, these guys. So, et cetera, et cetera. But ultimately, you're gonna love who loves you, right? And
Right.
If we got to go to Philly, get a cheesesteak, and they love us out there, we'll get a Quad A Green, we'll get an AJ Hogarth, we get a Conrad Chambers, we get a now Munir, now Colton, now Yasir. Like, these guys, they want the opportunity, and we want them to have it. But like I said, we're gonna keep the doors open and opportunities available for our city guys, right? Like, the roster is not gonna be all New York. It's just, at this point, there's just too many teams for that to happen.
That's right.
Personally think in any of these programs.
I agree with you, Munch. There's so many different levels and so many different teams that, you almost have to go out of state to kind of fill it out the way that you want to. And, honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not like you have 15 Pennsylvania kids, like you said, there's a premium still on the New York kid. But I just want to ask you, being a guy around basketball, you're always around the kids. You're always, checking out your guys, whether they're playing in the city or somewhere else. How did you come up with the idea to even think about writing your first book? Where did that come from? Where did the confidence come from to start that? Because people have talked to me about that, and it's something I've always thought about. But I want to hear, from you, my guy, like, where did you get that confidence to say, hey, I'm doing this and let's get this going?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. I didn't even think about it from the standpoint of, you said confidence, not confidence. If anybody that knows me, that gets close enough to me, they'll know, like, man, this dude is writing in his journal every day, right?
Yeah.
Like, when you get to our age and you've experienced so much in life, you kind of need to get it out. It's therapeutic, right? Like, and like I said, I had time when COVID came, and God will always make a way, right? And for the first time, the clock stopped during that COVID, that 2021 class. We were fortunate enough to get 12 guys to go Division I, right? And as far as grassroots, we didn't play basketball. Like, we didn't scrimmage, we didn't go play, we did nothing. So it was something saying, hey, man, you got this time now. What are you going to do to timestamp what you did during that time? And, every day I would wake up and it would be a different topic that I'm like, this is on my mind, right? This is my journey. This is life. This is what I'm seeing. This is obstacles. This is, and it kind of just started formulating. And then, to be honest, once I told some of the PSA guys, hey, I'm doing this, they was making sure, like, to follow up. Yo, Coach Munch, you still messing with that book? You still doing this? Write about this topic, write about that topic, right? Shout out to, like, Hassan French and all of those dudes that was constantly checking in to be like, yo, keep going, keep doing that. That's going to be good. You know what I mean? So I think having the time, and then also having the things in my heart, right? And in my head of, like, man, I'm not necessarily going to see a therapist right now, but I need to get this stuff out, because you got to let stuff out to bring some positivity in. So, it's just something that for a certain amount of time during the day, that was my process. Hey, I'm going to write this down, and I'm going to keep it moving and do the rest of the things I'm doing. Now, I think it's a little easier from the standpoint of you not going through a publishing company when someone is on your back saying, hey, you need to finish this at a certain time, or you need to write it in a certain way, right? Deadlines and pressure of sales. So for me, it was like, look, and honestly, my mentor, and then Crystal, Cole Anthony's mom, she told me, hey, listen, if you finish this, I'm gonna help you get it published, right? Like through a publishing company. And I'm finished it. I'm like, you know what? Let me try this other thing. So it was a dope learning experience. You know, the hardest thing is once it's out, what do you do from there? And just being frank, I had no plan for like, I didn't think about it when it was like, all right, this is out now. What do we do? It wasn't like, hey man, we going on a press tour. We're gonna do these interviews. It was none of that, man. It was like, look, this is out. Like this is happening, right? You write it, you type it, you throw it on Amazon, and you go with it, right? And that was that. And I think that energy was dope, that I was able to do so many workshops and so many speaking engagement with young, you know, men and women. I was able to get the book in so many hands. Like selling 10,000 copies is like, you know, Master P and them out the trunk.
That's a fact. I mean? So, that's a fact. Right? People don't know. I've been in the music business. I know. Trust me.
You know what I mean? So it gave you a different grind, but it also connected with what we were doing simultaneously. Like we would be in the airport and the kids would be giving out the books to people, and you teaching them how to, you know, accept a no and get 3 yeses, or, you know, get into your entrepreneurship. And, you know, it's okay to somebody to not, you know, jump when you say jump. And anything you say you're going to do with these young men, you're going to finish it, man. They on your body. You know what I mean? So that was a big thing for me to show them, like, hey, let's do this together. And honestly, you can't sell 10,000 books without the village of people, including New York, right? You guys, the families, the kids, the scouts, the media, everybody that came together to say, let me get that man a chance to see what he's talking about. And then when I learned it, I'm like, hold on. People not even writing books. Like, I actually wrote this, right? And that's why when people kept asking me, did you write it? I was like, why y'all keep asking me this question? Did I write it? Until I did enough studying to say, oh no, people verbally tell and someone else writes it, right? Correct. So I was like, oh, this is a little harder than that's why people like, oh, this is a little task.
That's a fact.
So it wasn't any pressure, man. It was, like I said, I had stuff on my chest, boy, and I wanted to get it off. You know what I mean? So that's how that first one came about.
Love that. I took some of the things, some notes that I actually applied to my business acumen as well, man. So I want to say thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now this book, right?
Big
this
time.
book comes, right?
Ooh.
This book comes, and
clean,
it's like,
man, clean.
I was just saying to myself, okay. He realized it's a lot of people asking me all these questions. Here you go. So now y'all have to come there and ring my phone for, you know, all these answers. I'm gonna give you the book for them. And was that how you came up with this book? It seemed like a step-by-step booklet or book for people who want to get inside the game and want to kind of know what the kind of game, you know, that you guys experience on a daily basis.
Yeah, it was a lot of mixed reasons, and one of them was that, right? Like, I can't touch everyone face to face, right? Like, I'm a person that I try to study my environment, and it was a time frame when I used to walk in a facility, and if somebody stopped you, that person would want your undivided attention for whatever timeline that they wanted your undivided attention. But I didn't realize how important that was, right? It wasn't like a disrespect. It was like, hey, I'm kind of here for a certain reason. But now that reason got shifted. And if you didn't give that person their proper etiquette, whatever they felt like it was, they would look at you and say, man, that dude is disrespectful, or he's not a cool dude, whatever that might be. And it took me a while to realize, like, you can't keep everyone happy, right? And then to you guys' point, a lot of questions would come up, and a lot of like, hey, how do you handle this? How you deal with that? How you deal with this? And it was like, man, I can't keep taking all of this time to like just deal with this. I got a lot of stuff going on. So that was definitely one of the reasons of like, hey, man, I need to give something. Another reason, honestly, I look at the music industry and you see somebody, and I'm not saying I'm Jay-Z by no means. Please don't misunderstand that, right? You look at somebody like Jay, and it was his time to say, hey, listen, you know, when I'm moving on to different pastors, he dropped the mic, he left something behind, he kept it moving, right? I'm getting to that space for me where it's like, look, they tell you to leave a place better than when you found it, right? So I'm trying to get to a place where it's like, look, I can look myself in the mirror and say, hey, I tried, right? I tried to leave some information. I tried to leave some level of a quote unquote blueprint, or just, you know, my thoughts that I've seen and how to move around. I tried that, right? And whether that goes to the audio version, whether that goes to guest speaking appearances, or whatever it might morph into, I can literally say, hey, listen, I gave mine. I did my part, right? Like, and I'm not judging anyone. It's just so saying, hey, I'm making an attempt. Because when I was coming up in the game, you know, Shout out to Gary Charles. Like I text him, man, I love you. I used to go to Gary Charles's office and just sit with him downtown and say, hey, man, how do you do this, that, and the third and still be respected or not hated? Or how do you stay in the game this long and not, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And OG gave me that game for free. You know what I mean? He wasn't charging me for the game or nothing. He said, listen, youngin, you get down here, we can have the conversation you want. And I was taking advantage of that, right? And he was teaching me a lot of things that I needed help with at that time. But I'm trying to leave something back for, one, the current people to say, look, let me look through this and I might find something that has triggered my mind, right? And it's all phases. It's media, it's video, it's NBA, it's NIL. It's a lot of topics in there. But I also know there's the next, like I said, I am only, and I learned this from one of my best friends, Andre Charles, I am only applying, a seat. Someone else is taking this seat, right? Someone else is, whatever the tone is, the king of the city or whatever that might be. I don't really care about the title, right? But you want to leave something back for somebody. Like Jay said, somebody's reading that cereal box. I'm going to help you, right? You don't got to fight with me. You don't got to tug of war with me to get me out the game. Young fella, whoever you are, and you're on your grind, here goes some feedback that I had to learn, right? You learn trial by error, and I'm going to try to help you, design it. And if we think bigger picture, if you put in certain things in place, we're going to help our kids, right, go further faster, and we're going to help our families, and it's going to be of assistance. But you got to get past the whole like PSA thing first and say, man, this is just knowledge and information. Yeah, forget the competition. And that's been the biggest thing I feel like at minimum for our city. Hey, man, we got to get past the competition. This is not us versus y'all on this basketball court. This is information. And then it's also, just being honest, there's so many like racial undertones to this stuff that I looked and learned as I was going forward in the first one that got into the second. You look at something, this is not me hating. You look at something like Toughness, the book Toughness, right? And you just ask yourself, hey, how does that book start to become in everyone's hands? It's word of mouth. It's literally somebody saying, yo, that book is good. Go see it. You don't go, you know what I'm saying? You got to go to Barnes and Nobles because somebody told you. But now with this, my job now is, hey, listen, the quicker I can get in everybody's hands, the more they can use it for whatever they need to use it for. And y'all seen it, the first one, hey, I'm giving them out, right? Like we get to a place where I'm
you
like,
were everywhere giving them joints out like mixtapes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Sure. They giving them out just because you like, look, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to let nothing stop you from this being able to help a kid. Now, this is more of adult centric, right? This is us, the people that's in charge of this culture. And it's a lot of people in this culture. And then my last point, and obviously I got 10 more points to it, is it has to bring respect to what we do, what you guys do, what grassroots directors do. Like when you go through it, you're going to say, hold up, these people are doing all of this. When people talk grassroots, they just say, hey, they roll out the balls on Saturday and Sunday and hope to win. But when you start talking about nutrition and how to deal with anxiety and how to deal with academia and how to deal with, trainers and all of this type of stuff, you're in a space, you're dealing with fundraising, you're dealing with, a budget, you're dealing with a staff. This is a lot of work, right? And shout out to all of these directors in New York City, Shandu's, the Adams, the Jay Davids. These guys are working their tails off. And most people don't know that. So when they get a chance to take my face off of that cover and realize, hey, man, I'm only giving y'all flowers. Like, this ain't me trying to say, oh, man, I'm selling a couple, 3 more books. Everybody know I'm Gucci, right? So at the end of the day, this is a, hey, man, shout out to y'all for the hard work and let me open up this door to show people how much y'all doing with y'all programs. I know a lot of these programs and I know how they're getting it going in a positive manner. So this isn't like, hey, me trying to tell you I'm the smartest dude on the block. That's not my thing. It's, hey, y'all all can design that if y'all wanted to, right? And it's going to work itself out. It's going to work itself out.
And it's so funny you talk about that kind of aspect of like, what you guys do off the court, everything, training, nutrition, because Pooh and I have talked about how basically this, EYBL circuit is basically like the minor leagues now for, the NBA. It's a hotbed of all these guys to take from. And, it's definitely, a lot more goes in than, like you just said, rolling out the balls. Also, I was hearing a lot of rumors swirling about who that ghostwriter was for Munchie. So glad you got to clear that up. Glad you got to clear that up.
Yo, man.
I also think, Pooh, he wrote 2 books so guys would actually leave him alone at the game and he could actually watch the game from now
Right,
on.
right, right,
I
right.
know that was a part of it.
That's a fact. That's a
but
fact.
the thing I wanted to bring up, Munch, because I've seen you almost kind of, because the guy I know and see on the sidelines, is animated, always make me laugh, treat me like I've been your friend since we were kids, and always enjoy being with you. Talk about the kind of tour that you've gone on, going around schools, like you said, because it's not talked about how much you've been trying to connect with all the other programs. You go to all these schools, you get to talk. I think it's a whole new aspect of you, Munch, that is really underappreciated, and it's great to see because I feel like you're coming alive every time I see a video of you talking with these kids. It's great. So could you talk about, how you become more comfortable in that situation and all the tours and things like that and all the different places you've been able to show the book?
Yeah, no, 100%, man. I think everybody that know me know I'm not a social media guy, right? I don't
Yeah.
got no Instagram. I don't play around on TikTok. I don't really got Twitter like that. I don't really be knowing. I pay attention, but I'm not letting people get too close to me, right? Like I think everybody know that. Like this dude gonna separate. I'm gonna departmentalize my real life in this space. I think for me, most people judge you and say because they see you in a tech suit or something, they say, "Hey, man, this dude he's X." But when you get to know me, like I'm a highly educated person. You know what I mean? This is not shooting at nobody, man. I've I got 2 master's degrees. I've taught, in the education system. I ran an after school program. I'm running a non-for-profit. Like the people I'm around are super smart. You know what I mean? They tell you to surround yourself by people that are smarter than you in those facets. So I'm a little bit more from the other side than just the hoops. And I love basketball, right? I watch college basketball probably more than anybody in this city, right, man? Like every day, right? Every level. So I think for me, I'm able to get into these doors and have these conversations, but I'm also able to relate to the kids, right?
Yeah.
Like I went to public school in high school and I went to a tough public school, Taft, right? Like they call it training animals for tomorrow. So I could walk in. Yeah, so I'm
That's a
comfortable.
fact.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm comfortable in that setting of whether it's Jefferson or Watley or Wings or whatever. I'm comfortable in there, and I'm also, I went to the boarding school life, so I'm able to, Clark Kent that thing, put the glasses on, and go up to Hotchkiss and Northfield, and I'm just as comfortable because I know both of those environments, right? And I'm also real good in the hood where I could walk into any PAL and be like, look, this is what it is. This is my story. This is what we all live in. But you got to come from a place of trying to give. You got to come from a place of giving knowledge, giving, materialistic objects. Like we've done everything that we can do as far as community service and give backs and, to the fire department, to the hospitals, to regular people. Like I'm not trying to throw nobody under the bus, but I know PSA has given more than most programs in this city to random people, and we don't boast about it. Like we're not doing the whole, hey, every stop. Like it's a lot of resources going out to people and not just for kids, right? So I'm cool. I'm happy. I'm in that space where it's like a different challenge, right? Like if I'm on a Monday night doing a workshop of kids up in like Schenectady or something like that, right? And on a Tuesday night, I'm in the middle of Massachusetts somewhere, right? Like you're just challenging yourself to be the best version of who you can become. And that's what my thing is. I don't want to be known as just this grassroots director. I want to be somebody that's versatile. So when it's my time to leave off this planet, they're gonna say he did this, and this. And ultimately I did it my way, Frank Sinatra. You know what I mean? So I'm proud to say me and my people do things a little bit different. Doesn't mean it's better, doesn't mean it's worse, right? But we're challenging each other to be the best men we can be, right? Like shout out to Casey Williams and Coach K. Like, these guys are Casey, running the facility and the school system, and K is a police officer, Mark Carter, fire department. These dudes is doing some stuff, you know what I mean? But I think for us, it's just more like, hey, what's the next challenge, right? Like nobody's counting how many times you've been to Peach Jam or how many games you won. What is the next challenge for you as a man? And that's where I kind of like step in to be like, y'all see me like, man, I'll jump in, I'll leave at the third quarter, right? At the game. And the kid will know, like, I'm gonna come in, this is my timeline, 6 to 7, I'm out of here. Shake some hands, make sure everybody cool, and keep it moving. But I'm trying to do things. Like I'm into poetry, I just started golfing, I just started fishing. I'm just on a different time, man. I'm on a different time.
Nah, that's
You know
real,
what I mean?
man. It's good to kind of expand your horizons, but I want to touch on something you touched on earlier, right? And as far as a message to our city. I think there's so much competition with each other right? And I think a lot of times we don't want to support somebody that we think is going to get past us. All right, and I think it's become such
Crazy.
it's such a, it's like a disease, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like for the work that you guys do, you know, everybody see what me and B do, right? This thing is not something that we've been doing this for a couple of years. No sponsors, no backing, anything. Going to the games, giving kids highlights, making sure that we spotlight these kids, coaches, programs, doing whatever we gotta do, because really it's about what you said, leaving something behind.
Correct.
And also kind of teach the next generation. But I think the thing that's kind of holding us back in our city is the whole, you know, me versus you thing, right? And I want to touch on something in the book, because you have the handler versus the mentor, right? And again, it becomes a competition thing, right? It becomes somebody who's going against the grain just because, or want to see it done this way, because if you're not doing it my way, your way don't work. You know what I'm saying? When you started thinking about, because I don't want to drag on the whole thing, because that's a whole nother subject with the city, right? I just want to touch on that, because I see that, my guy B see that, and we tell everybody we ain't in competition with no one. No one does what we do, and we don't do what nobody else do, but we also will support and give those people, you know, props and kudos the same way you do when you come on our show. But talk about the book, right? When you talk about handlers and mentors. Yes, last week I met this young man, and he made an impression on me. You know, I'm a mentor. I mentor a lot of the kids that come out of my school. But it's the first time I kind of wanted to mentor a young man who's playing basketball. And it was because of his character. And I didn't realize by the time he stood up, he was taller than me. When I was talking to him, he was sitting down. But when I read that part for his handlers and mentors and the difference between the two, I'm saying, you know, just keep doing what you're doing, because you're going to make a difference. Now, with saying that, when you wrote and talked about the handlers versus mentor thing, why did you want to put that in the book, and why is that so important for people to know the difference?
Yeah, because there's a space for both, right? There's an honesty to both, and there's success in both, right? Like I've seen guys who are like, hey man, listen, this is my kid, right? I take care of him. I do this, I do that. Like I respect that, right? Like ultimately, but it has to be a line where it's like it has to still be about the kid, right? Like once you get to the point where it's just like, hey man, I'm not letting what's good for the kid happen because it's not good for me, then cool, man. It's not gonna be PSA, right? Like, but then there's the next stage of like that same energy being quote unquote a mentor, where you're trying to like usher and help this kid, whether it's him or her, get through life. Like forget the basketball, like take that away for a second and say, hey, am I trying to put this kid in the best academic place for him? Am I trying to like make sure he's in public speaking classes, because in his future he's gonna need that? Am I trying to like instead of buying them the newest J's, I'm buying them some muscle milk to get his body together, right? Like, am I putting them with the right trainers? Like, and like I said, there's space for both. Like I've dealt with both, and that's fine. I'm not tripping on it. I'm just more like, hey, when you get to a place where for me, when you quote unquote are a handler, the question starts to be, what are you handling so you can do that, and then PSA can do the rest. But if PSA doing all the stuff, then you're not handling nothing. But we want to work. We got to work together, right? There's a kid in the middle. There's a family in the middle. Let's figure out how to work together, and let's be successful for this kid, right? And I think it's not a shot at anybody, or that's not. I didn't write it because I was thinking of a person, not a mentor thing. I was thinking of one of my great friends, you know, Hicks, and watch how he mentored, right? And obviously in my life, my mentors are a lot of people that don't got nothing to do with basketball. I got lucky, but I think there's, you know, I could understand people. I understand what you're trying to accomplish, and I have no issue with that. It's just about conversation, respect, and seeing if we both could find a way to meet in the middle to make sure that this kid is getting what he or she actually needs to shine. right? And then you can take it from there. It's the baton, man. We're gonna run a 100-yard dash, or we're gonna run this mile. It's up to you. But here go
That's
that
right.
baton, and you do your thing. But we want to make sure you're in a better space than when you came in, right? But we don't want to fight with you. We don't want to tug of war with that, right? And I think regardless, the adults, when they up front, you make the decision on what you want to deal with. So shout out to all the handlers, and shout out to all the mentors and every adult that's trying to help these kids.
All right, before we go on, my guy Ayatollah Beats, he's a super producer. Yo, so I know you're a hip hop head, right? So you know that joint with Pharaoh Munch and Styles P, My Life.
Okay.
My life is all I had. He the
Yep.
producer for that.
Congrats on that, man.
You know
Dope,
what I'm saying?
man.
But he wanted to know, are we able to purchase the book? You know, tell people where they can purchase the book that much.
It's on Amazon, man. Amazon.com, man, which to me, it makes it even better where it's like, look, man, forget worrying about the money. It's not hand-to-hand combat, right? Like, you're going to see me a couple places just to get the book out and do a couple of those locations, because physically I'm able to be there every once in a while. But Amazon.com, I mean, anybody understand books going to know, hey, Amazon going to get their percentage.
That's
so
where
like
I got mine at. I got mine on Amazon.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, B,
exactly.
show them your book. Show them your book, B.
B Money got his at I Own the Prep. Right?
There you go. See?
Right? So at the end of the day, you can kind of like understand, like, that man not doing this for the money, right? Go to Amazon. You don't go ahead, do your thing, man. Just get it. You know, and like I tell people, if you get it and you don't find something that's useful, everybody know how to get my number, man. I'll send you back your little $20. You know what I mean? I'll send it back.
You're not sending it back. It's too many Jews in there. It's too many Jews in there, brother.
Yeah.
If you get it for the answers, you're gonna get what you pay for and more. Because you giving, man, there's a breakdown of so many things, brother. We could go on the different topics that you wrote about, man. It's crazy.
And people are always asking these questions, so it's great. It's great to see.
Yeah. And this one's a little more difficult. You're trying to do it in the mix of everything you're doing. It wasn't no COVID
doubt.
on this one. He was going for it. But go ahead, B. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Now, Munch, you may hate this, but I want to look under the hood a little bit. I want to look into the future. You know, we always talk about certain things. PSA is not going anywhere. My guy Munch is not going anywhere. But you've had to have some amazing opportunities come by with all the success that you've had over the years. Have there any opportunities that have come through that you were close to maybe considering, or is there anything that, like a job or a position that you would love to do maybe at a higher level for the future? Because when I see these college GM jobs, the first guy I literally think of is, I'm like, how is Terrance Munch not have a GM job with one of these D1 programs? I mean, it just blows my mind. Is there anything that's kind of circulating like that? I mean, I know I'll put you on the spot.
You know we hear it. You look. As soon as it happens, it blacks out. His phone just black. His phone just went out dead. So you already know we.
You know you gonna keep me. I know the phone is the phone, man.
Oh my God!
From the smoke.
Nah, it's so good. It's so good.
That's the phone, baby.
Yeah, I just want to let you know we keep our ear to the streets, right? We hear these things, right?
Listen, and I'm always gonna give you 100 with me, man. Like, for me, I'm organic. Like, I'm in a place in life where something has to come to me that's organic, that I'm like, okay, that's it right there. I'm past the, like, hey, man, I got an infatuation with being a high school coach, a college coach. I'm not. The number is gonna get equated to, hey, what is the salary and how many times is it gonna take me away from going to see my mom, right? Like, I'm married now, right? I got friends, family. I've dedicated a lot of time and given and missed a lot of, parties and barbecues, and so I'm not searching for that. I'm searching for more time to go tackle this bucket list, right? I'm not financially strapped. I'm happy. They tell you don't mess with happy. But I am somebody who, for me, I want to do things in a 2-year window. Like, I like a challenge. You conquer it, you move on, right? So if somebody's like, hey, you want to be an NBA scout? I'll try it. I'm just not going to uproot my whole life for it, right? And then once I get a hang of it and be like, oh, I'm good, I can do that. And then I'll do something else. But whatever comes my way has to be through the grace of God right now, right? Because there's a finite number on how many times you get to spend with how many times you get to see your mom, you get to see your family, you get to kick it. You know what I mean? And them Sunday dinners with moms is a little bit more priceless than it used to be 10 years ago. So it's gonna take some moving and shaking for me to be like, hey, I'm jumping.
What's that check like? Okay. That's it.
Price going up, baby. Price going up.
Listen, yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yes, man. Everybody on that phone better get their book, man. Whoever called them, get your book, man. Call back.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
But yeah, it's been some great opportunities that came my way and come my way, and but the first thing is first and foremost, I got to make sure homegrown is strong, right? Like our program is strong, and ultimately, we're not gonna be the program that stick around 20 years and just be mediocre or terrible, right? Like I'm big on, like I said, Frank Sinatra did it my way, and then Barry Sanders. Right, and what I mean by that is Barry went out. When Barry went out, people were like, "Yo, why you leave, man? You still was in your prime." Right, so I keep telling people, stop trying to rush us. If you chill out, we might Barry Sanders this thing before you know it. But you keep trying to rush us is creating more competitive juices to stay longer. Right, like so that's kind of where we are mentally. Most people won't know that, but yeah, if some things come my way, it got to be. Like I said, it got to be a super bag, but I got to have flexibility in my time. And my personality don't really lend itself to dudes telling me what to do for 8 to 12 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? So you're in a space where you kind of like got a lot to juggle, right? So great question, though. Great question.
Now, one of the things I want to talk about too, that's in the book, picking a high school. How important is that for kids? Because in my tournament, we have the junior high school just got finished playing. I think the high school is playing right now, but I have a lot of kids that's in the junior high school space. They're all searching for the right high school. So when I talk to kids and it's like, what high school you going to? They name me like 5 to 10 high schools, and I'm going, you only can go to one, right? How do you help those kids wait till you come back? But that's important because again, you got kids that are saying, they got like 5 Catholic schools that they're interested in, 3 or 4 public schools, and they're not sure. And I know it's crazy out here because you got a lot of handlers, you got a lot of coaches trying to snatch up kids. But I just want to know the process for PSA.
And a lot of
how they aggravate kids.
A lot of people don't even do their due diligence, right, Pooh? It's just like they hear the best offer and they kind of jump when you may get in there and then all of a sudden like at St. Ray's there's no girls, or there's just certain elements of each school that if you don't go in or have experience you don't know, so
it may be not a good fit for you.
Yeah, 100%. That happens all the time, or like you go to a school and you're like a power forward, and there's 2 or 3 great power forwards.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going crazy right now.
You're good to go. You're good to go, Munchy. You want to repeat the question, Pooh, or I don't know if Munch heard it or not.
Can you hear me?
You guys can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Apologize, man. Phone.
No worries.
It's a hot box.
It's all good.
I think the question about how important it is to pick a high school, extremely, because we're dealing with too much movement. We're dealing with guys that are like, making this decision for 4 months, or making this decision for 6 months. But I also think that we're making decisions on basketball, right? Like, hey, I'm trying to go to this school because they told me I'm gonna play varsity. They told me I'm going over here. They're gonna give me the ball in my hands, and it's like, hey, man, let's start looking at the school holistically. Right, let's look at the distance in which you're traveling. Let's look at the tutorings, and let's look at the class size, everything that come with it. Right, like we playing 2 hours of basketball a day. That's it. Like either it's the practice or a game. We got 2 hours a day, but like you got to go in and do some research on the actual school, right? And once you do that, then you can be a happier kid in that space. And if you're nice, basketball going to take care.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And the kid who I was talking about, great kid. He's in Eagles Junior High School. He's gonna go to Eagle Academy. And I told him, I said, Eagle's a great school. You know what I'm saying? All boys school. They hold each other accountable. They hold all the kids accountable there. And I'm not trying to change your life in that aspect. You're already a good student. I'm just trying to help you navigate it as you go along this process. And I think that's something that Munch is talking about. Go ahead, Munch. We hear you. Hello?
I think I'm backstage again.
No, I can hear you. I hear you.
Y'all can hear me?
You on stage. Yeah, you on the
You're
stage.
good.
We see
I
you.
can't hear y'all.
You're good to go. We hear you, Munchie.
This is wild.
Nah, it's all
This is
good.
so wild.
We're gonna wrap it up in a few.
I don't know if y'all can hear me. I can't hear y'all. Maybe it's me.
Hold on.
Here we go. There we go. I got you.
You
Yeah,
good?
there you
Okay,
go.
good.
Yes. I don't know. It's phone, like I said. But yeah, man, you gotta pick a spot that's more than just what you're doing on the court, man. You gotta find something that makes sense holistically. It's something that can get you to the next stage of your life and academically fit you, socially fit you, just everything that comes with that. That's a very important situation.
Now, like I was telling B, right,
So,
the young man that I said,
I know you guys froze.
I want to help mentor. Now we here.
Technical difficulty.
That's okay. That's all right. You're on your phone. We understand. We right here. Hello? How we doing, Ayatollah Beats and CK? Did he freeze up? I know we still good on my end.
Yeah,
Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up.
You might be gone now.
Nah, but listen, this kid, he remind me of a young John Sally when John Sally was in his high school, right?
You love
Long.
that Sally drop.
Listen, because when we talk about a kid who's like got raw talent, like people don't understand, John Sally was a prodigy, man. Like he wasn't a prodigy, excuse me. He was around a lot of talented ball players, and a lot of those guys never made it to the NBA. He did.
Yeah.
And he's a 4-time NBA champion.
Y'all better get y'all best question in, man, before this phone go crazy.
Nah. We just want to touch on, B, you got any more things you want to touch on for the book before
Good. Go ahead.
All right. Now, there's two more things that we're going to get you out of here. Getting a sneaker deal.
Yes, sir.
How does that work? Now, I know you can't give away all the juice, right?
Yeah.
But, I know people who look at you, always Nike'd out. They take care of you guys, big time program. How does that process work, and what did that entail for them to kind of take you serious?
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, what's wild crazy about our journey was we started in middle school, right? Like with some sixth graders, Shavard Newkirk, Chris McCullough, all these guys, Kevin Seymour, Nico, and we just kept going. And just being honest, we wasn't shooting for the deal. We were just, we're playing in Central Park and housing.
Surviving, baby. Surviving.
Yeah, we were going, right? And we kept going. So, like, how we got the deal, obviously somebody like Chris McCullough sped up our maturation, but we had a group of kids that were already rocking and rolling and winning. So, like, I think at the end of the day, in order for you to get a deal, for me, it'll start functioning like you got the deal, right? Hold yourself to certain standards and how you move and how your team functions. Like, you don't need a deal to make sure your backpacks is lined up in a certain order. Your kids is looking a certain part when you get to the airport. Like, if you bump into, Phil Knight or whoever's in charge of Adidas and all these people in the airport, how you want your kids looking, right? Like, so I think so many times we looking for the one answer. Yo, you get a sneaker deal by this. No, it's the holistic approach, right? And that's why the book, to me, that topic of how you get a deal is, hey, well, go to entry 1 through 50. And everything in there matters towards that, right? You're not gonna get a deal tomorrow just because you got, maybe sometimes you get a small deal that's like, hey, I got the top player in the state for, the 8th grade, 9th grade. And I think that's been everybody's, they swinging and missing. They Derek Jeter, A-Rod, like, hey man, listen, I'm gonna get this one player and I'm gonna get this deal. But it don't last. So like, you want something that's stable. So when you're dealing with these brands, whatever brand, you need to show, hey, we are fully functional organization, right? We got young men and women up and down all over the place doing well and have proof in your pudding of what you're doing. And then when it comes, you already have been functioning without them. So you stable. I think so many times we're looking for that microwave answer of like, hey man, just give me this one answer to how to get a deal. And it's hard for us because we didn't go about it like that. Like we didn't
Yeah.
go about it saying if we do X, we're gonna get a deal. Now you got to kick on some ass, right? You got to get on that court and put some pain on some people. And but the culture is different now. It doesn't lend itself to too many non-sneaker company teams playing sneaker company teams, right? Like when we first got on, we were able to go around the country and look for these teams that had deals. And
Yeah.
when we got in the tournament, we would play them and we would know the importance of beating them.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
we was doing raffle tickets and candy money and buying Starburys. Like, so if you asking me how you get a deal, man, you better put your, get it out the mud. And
Yep.
and you gotta understand, like I said, in this area, there's quality teams. It's not like one or two of these outfits are falling off, right?
Yeah.
Like these dudes are strong. So when you coming up, you might miss your window with that one kid. Because he
Yeah.
might go 3 years and nobody fell off. Right? Like we've seen that, right? Like this kid came through and it's like, oh, that kid is nice. And then next thing you know, that same program ain't strong no more. Because you gotta have something coming after. Right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, the best answer I could give you is go look through this and through this book and get, at least 25 of these entries correct.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about with, earlier. We kind of hit on Munch, how you kind of do it through all your teams, and you kind of like trying to make it better each year, and the next year kind of build it up, and that's what happens when you kind of treat it like a JUCO program and you add 8 new guys every year. You don't know what you're gonna get. The consistency's tough, and there's teams losing sneaker deals, and there's teams super hungry for them. But you're right. It's a process. It takes a certain time. You got to set the standard, like you said, and make it a program that, like you said, somebody comes around, they see you guys for the first time. They're like, these guys got it together. They're promoting our stuff. They're doing it the right way. So I thought you absolutely nailed that.
Yeah, man.
Sure.
Make them come to you, man. Do
fair.
enough where they come to you, and it's work. It ain't gonna happen overnight, man. You
That's
gotta
right.
start building. And shout out to anyone that's on their way to getting the deal, right? And I hope that however we can help in our process to helping you keep the deal. Like that's the thing. It's not just people think when you get the deal, everything is just peachy and creamy. Man,
Yeah.
I remember vividly the one thing that shocked me was people that said what's up to me when we didn't have a deal and was hoping you were successful. For some reason, when we got that deal, they was like, nah, I'm not messing with you. And I was confused, right? Like I was extremely confused, but I understood, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of them deals. It's not a lot of them opportunities, and everybody feels like they deserve it, and a lot of people do. But timing is important, man. Like I told people, man, we had the moons and the stars on our side. At that time, there was a couple programs that were heavy hitters that were going through an influx, and we happened to be in that lab with them youngins every single day, grinding. And when our number got called, we were ready, and
That's
we
right.
ain't look back.
Mm-hmm.
Man, listen, we want to say, first of all, thank you for always having the time for us, coming on.
Everywhere, Munch. Always having
Joe.
time for us wherever we at, baby.
Nah,
Always.
this is dope, man. This is
Always.
dope. And I also want to say, continued success and your endeavors. Our doors are always open. Whenever, you want to come on, talk about anything. And we're going to continue this. We're going to continue this. We are in our second season, High School Basketball Weekly. BASKETBALLHEADZZ has been around for 5 years, and we going strong. I was fortunate enough to get my guy B to help me start this, being partners on this High School Basketball Weekly and do some great things. And I'm glad we can have you on, brother. Want to let you continue the rest of your night. Before you leave, a quick plug to everybody. Xbox Go. Have you ever heard of this, Munch?
I haven't.
I'm gonna hook you up, man. We're gonna talk, man. You need this for your program. It's an AI camera, right? And you can just have it in the gym. You can film everything. You can follow all the players.
Yeah.
It's
Is
different than
that
Huddle.
that's up top?
Yes. But people think it's Huddle. It's not. Huddle is a monthly subscription. This is not. This is a one-time thing. And if you use BASKETBALLHEADZZ, you get 10% off.
Put us on, baby.
I got you. I'm gonna send you the link and everything, man. But listen, Munch, I want to say, man, continued success. Keep doing what you're doing. And hey, everybody cop the book, baby.
Your book, man. Get your book.
There you go. Here are the answers.
It's your book, man.
He got the answers, Sway. He got the answers. That's a
Listen,
fact.
man. New York
Munch,
got
I
something.
can't
We
wait to
got
tee it
something.
up with you, bro. I can't wait to see you on the golf course, man. We need a PSA golf day. That's what we need,
Man,
baby.
you know the initials. I'll put it to you like this on the closing. You know the initials is TW, right? I'm not gonna go no further with common sense,
Yo,
baby.
listen.
Wow.
I'm a putt guy, but I would love for that to happen. Yo, Munch, I think that would be dope, man. A PSA, golfing,
Yeah, shout out the Lightning though, man. They just did something with that with the golf outing the other day, man. Major move, smart move. Just being ahead of the curve. So shout out Dana and Shan and the rest of the Lightning family for that.
No doubt. And when you want to do the golfing thing, holla at my guy B, man. He got the connects.
Oh, okay, B. Okay.
I got you, baby. Whatever you need.
All right. I got you.
All right, bro. Be good.
Thank you, Munchie. You're the man.
See y'all soon. Be safe.
No doubt. Man, what a great guy, man. One of the good ones, right?
How'd you meet Munch, by the way, before we get out of here?
I met Munch. I think I met him at a Step in That Game.
Yeah.
I think I met him. I think I met him at a Step in the Game, and we kind of said what's up to each other. And when I first met him, I reached out to him. I saw him at the game, and I said, I need you to come on the show. He said, bet. He came on the Basketball Head show a couple of years ago, and that's how the relationship started, man. And it's been on and popping ever since. Always shows love whenever I see him, man, and always shows support, man. So, but B, again, I want to say thank you as always. You hold me down. And you out in these streets too, man. You out in these streets, man.
Listen, talk about my Brevoort, man. I need an update on my Brevoort
Brevoort Basketball League. We got rained out all last week.
Oh, man.
One game in a day last week.
I'm seeing rain again, Pooh, this week, man.
This is why we had to go today, because we don't usually go on Sundays.
Yeah.
So we had our 3 games in today. I know we had 2 good games before I left. And the high school game probably just finishing up right now. So come out to the Brevoort Basketball League. It's in the center of Brevoort houses. It's called the Brevoort Coliseum, or as it is now called, the Thomas E. Diggs Jr. Memorial Coliseum.
Wow, that's awesome. And that's Mondays, right? Mostly Monday nights?
That's a fact.
Awesome.
Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays every week. Monday,
Excellent.
Tuesday, and Thursdays. We got 3 games. We won the only high school programs and junior high school programs where the kids play under the lights.
Love that, man. Love that. That's great, man. That's great. And I saw the guys working hard painting the courts, getting them ready, man. Those poor guys.
Looking good. They got it going on. We got it going on out there, man. So, man, let's get ready. Wrap this up, man. Again, if you haven't got the Xbox Go Chameleon, please check it out. The link's gonna be in the bio. Check it out here. It's going to be in the bio. You get 10% off with the Basketball Heads code, and no monthly fee, baby. It's AI. It follows the action.
Man. It can follow one player, right? I love that.
That's right. And you can also generate highlights from it.
That's cool, too. I like that.
All right. So, B, appreciate you.
My man, till next time. Make sure you get the book. Shout out Munch, the best in the game. Such a great guy. Pooh, till next time, my man.
Appreciate you, brother.
Peace.